about gay pride. Like,
I don't have the same take as the rest of the panel when it comes to the idea of legislating morality. I think that there are ideas which are subversive and that we can get rid of, and that that's absolutely fine to do. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to pornography. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to children being introduced to this type of sexuality so young. I don't think that that's necessary at all. I don't think it's an impingement on free speech at all.
Andrew Wilson went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and absolutely annihilated a couple of woke soy boys, and as Andrew Wilson normally does when he goes on Piers Morgan's show. But this one was just honestly so bad that it did leave Piers Morgan pretty stunned here, pretty shocked, and leaving the woke soy boys shocked here. Let's see this clip here where Andrew Wilson absolutely annihilates an entire panel of woke idiots live here on the Piers Morgan Uncensored.
But for an adolescent, like these young kids, I'm seeing kids at dinners when we're at restaurant surfing TikTok while their parents are not even paying attention to what they're doing. Like that right there is a massive problem. And if we don't, as a society, get a hold of that, then this will never end. There'll be more series like Adolescence that hit even harder because we're witnessing it in our own lives.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, you seem to be in agreement with some of that.
Yeah, it's poison. There's no doubt. It re-scrambles children's brains, and it's very difficult to monitor. Even if you have parental controls, they can find ways around it. At school, they have peers who will assist them in getting around it. You have to monitor it really well. Smartphone technology for my own kids, it was kind of new. I wish that I, in retrospect, had done more guarding against that myself. You don't know the dangers of that technology until children get a hold of it, and then you're left scrambling going, oh man, I wish I had known that this was going on or that was going on, but you have no idea. Now, though, we have a little bit of retrospect, and we know that it's an appropriate thing to do to guide against this type of technology because, yeah, he's absolutely right. It does create all sorts of problems for kids. I'm not sure that gets to the heart of the masculinity and feminine issue, but I totally agree with him that we should be safeguarding our children against this technology. It does seem to be very bad for them.
And James, there is pretty well unfettered pornography on the internet available to young men and women, obviously, but men are watching a lot of often quite violent, degrading sexual scenes in these porn clips they're seeing online. None of that can help in the way an impression.
Yeah, no doubt, it's detrimental to society, but especially detrimental to younger children's minds. And what's crazy is that this is the topic of this. This is what we're talking about. And I don't pre-watch it, but this is obviously the topic, and that people are going to hardcore disagree with Andrew Wilson's take that this stuff is bad because it empowers other people but it's no doubt detrimental to society. There's just no arguing this doesn't deter your mental health. I don't know how anyone could argue that possibly, right?
Male mind goes about trying to forge a real relationship with an actual woman.
Well, I think it's important not to say young male mind. It's any person's mind, right? Like, I don't think we should victimize men. I can't believe Andrew's agreeing with me. But yeah, it's awful. I mean, I genuinely don't think people should have phones until they're 16. They certainly shouldn't have social
Well, Australia's done that, and I'm not against it. The smartphone ban till 16.
I mean, it's terrifying.
Why not?
You can't go on air, on TV, and say whatever you want. Like, I know you're pretending that you're uncensored, but you couldn't sit here and say literally whatever you want.
Yes, I can.
Well, not really, Piers, because if you said something that incited hatred or racism or a terror attack,
I wouldn't want to say that.
You would be arrested.
I wouldn't
but online,
why would I want to incite a terror attack?
I'm not saying that you want to. I'm just trying to make a point. Online,
you're saying I can't say what I want.
Online,
I do not want to incite a terror attack.
No, but if you did,
I'm allowed. Just to be, you're raising an interesting point about censorship.
Yeah,
we're uncensored because I would not want. I don't say anything I don't want to say.
Right.
So when you say I'm censoring, I'm actually self-censoring. I'm not. I'm not going to call for a terror attack.
I'm not saying that you would ever do that, of course, but I'm saying that if you did, there would be accountability for that because you are broadcasting to a lot of people.
Right.
But a lot of people online do not have that gate stopping them from saying horrendous things, and so therefore it can blow up online, excuse the horrible pun, and that shouldn't be allowed. There should be a system in place that stops people broadcasting things that aren't meant to be broadcast to millions of people.
One of the problems, Tommy, Toby Young, who's a British journalist, director of Free Speech Union, very, very big in promoting and defending free speech, says Adolescence, the new teen drama, is pro-censorship propaganda, partly paid for by the state, that is now being seized upon by Labour left-wing MPs as evidence we need more online censorship. And that is, of course, you talk about a swinging pendulum. What you don't want to come out of all this is an overreaction and an over-censorship, because that in itself becomes a problem.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with Sean on this point, too. I think parenting has more to do with this than any of us really, can even understand. I mean, many, I'm sure, in this panel can. But parenting is, to me, the end-all, be-all of all of this. I mean, you can watch horrible things online. You can listen to people say horrible things. But if you've got a good foundation with good parents at home, hopefully two, that provides you with a lot of guidance and support to navigate these things. And it doesn't really, scramble your mind in the way that those that are not blessed with a two-parent household may be impacted by it. I don't believe that censorship is ever the answer. I believe that more speech is the answer to speech that you don't like. And as much as I don't like certain people online and what they say, whether they're the Tate brothers or whoever else, I believe that they should have the right and the ability to say it. And then people like us should have the right and ability to respond to it. I think that's the healthiest way to come to a great consensus, or at least a public square where we can all debate ideas with dialogue and conversation. But I don't think that censorship is ever the answer. And I think that, our leaders in America have done a great job of emphasizing that, especially to the European countries who believe censorship is the way to cleanse or the way to legislate morality. I just don't think that's the way to do it.
Well, the instinctive.
Yeah, I don't think it's the way to do it either. And let me know what you guys think in the comments and what we should do about this issue, because I'm sure, at least 90% of you all agree that this type of content they're talking about is detrimental to society and mental health, and it's degrading where people are going to advance beyond it, right? I don't think it's censorship. I don't think just take it off and don't allow anybody to do it, because not even that would be necessarily a bad thing, but anytime you do that, it's just going to create like a black market effect, and that things are going to get worse, more violent, more degrading, but just more children involved and things that are going to slip through the cracks. And that's the worst possible case scenario. What I think needs to be happening is just more shame, genuine shame for participating, for watching, consuming, being addicted, all that kind of stuff. Shame needs to, go against the grain there, against that genre of entertainment. That's what you want to call it. But, I think it needs to be a shame thing overall. And what happened with cigarettes, right? They didn't ban cigarettes. They just shamed people so hard into not wanting to smoke cigarettes. I think the same thing needs to happen with this type of content. It needs to be a societal cultural shift overall. And right now I feel like it's kind of shifting positively, but at the same time, it's becoming accepted, right? Like, oh, you watch that stuff, you make that kind of content. How much money did you make off it? That's a business opportunity. It needs to be shamed. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, it's shamed all the time on social media, but it's clearly not shamed enough if it's actually getting, more popular by the day. Young girls are aspiring, young men are aspiring to do this stuff. There's like 2 million plus active creators on OnlyFans. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. So clearly it's not been shamed enough. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, though. I'd love to hear your answer here. Let's get back into it.
Certainly in the UK for a long time now, many years, has been to censor and to ban and prohibit and so on. And I think people are beginning to wake up to the downside of that, is that once you chip away at things like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, you're heading down a pretty slippery road, which can be dictated by your government, and then that's not a place.
It's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, I just want to make a side point, and I don't need to get into it, but your government are banning books, so they are literally talking about free speech whilst also banning free speech in it that they don't agree with. So what you're saying is nice, and I agree with you in principle, but that's not literally what is happening.
Yeah, they're not banning books, dumbass. They're not banning books. Who is banning books in 2025, right? It's so funny they play these mental gymnastic games like your government is banning. No, they're not banning books. That's like saying that we're banning guns because they don't allow guns to be brought into elementary schools. They're not banning guns, dumbass. They're not just not letting. Tommy Loren just said. I mean, I can't say it again, but you heard what she said. They're not letting those types of books into schools. It's not banning books. They're just not allowing those books in. Why are we playing dumb, playing we're stupid? We can't understand basic common sense in this conversation. Just because you don't allow guns in elementary school and guns are banned in the United States, it's not how it works. I mean, come on, this is just like basic stuff, right? Let's get back into it though.
Same as banning books.
You talked about freedom of speech, right? And everyone coming together and having a discussion about it.
Oh my God.
But that's not what's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're
Putting
talking about
graphic
in the
gay
home,
porn
not in
into
school.
children's libraries is a little different.
I mean, no
James.
one should be putting porn into a children's library. I think we all agree on that.
Then why are you complaining
What's the
that that's
issue?
being
Because that's not
banned?
what I'm discussing. I'm discussing books that talk about diversity, equality, that talk about Black Lives Matter, that talk about gay pride. Like, this
Yeah,
is...
so I don't have the same take as the rest of the panel when it comes to the idea of legislating morality. I think that there are ideas which are subversive and that we can get rid of, and that's absolutely fine to do. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to pornography. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to children being introduced to this type of sexuality so young. I don't think that that's necessary at all. I don't think it's an impingement on free speech at all. And not only that, there's going to necessarily be limits on every single freedom that we have. By necessity, that's the way it has to be, unfortunately. And the reason it has to be that way is because otherwise you're going to have nothing but subversives who go in and subvert your entire culture, which is exactly what happened in the UK, and it's exactly what's been happening in the United States. So we have to have some way to fight back against that.
All right, Sean, final word.
Yeah, I mean, look, Andrew Wilson absolutely cooked the guy, no doubt about it. And I really can't disagree with anything Andrew Wilson said there. And it's ridiculous to say that, and I feel like he just said that for the sake of argument. I feel like Piers Morgan got in his ear and was like, hey, you guys are agreeing too much. You got to say something stupid to spark an argument here, because there's no way that he genuinely believes that not allowing that type of stuff into schools is banning books. There's just no way. It's not even close to the same thing. It really isn't. And you'd be delusional to think otherwise. The government has not banned books. Do we even have to go into it again? Everybody knows that was just a dumbass statement that I've heard on Piers Morgan. But, you know, let me know in the comments what you think about Andrew Wilson shutting this idiot down for that ridiculous statement here live on Piers Morgan Uncensored.